So the things that we're thinking about, it means that we can have increased connections with people, or we can have safer connections with people. So when we're talking about retailers, for example, we have good examples of how that works in our grocery stores. We need to think about those types of models in other retail settings. So it's still having the online, the sort of mixture of online and in-store experience, if you will, reducing the numbers of people that can be in a store at a period of time, making sure that we have hand hygiene available for people. So those are the types of things we need to think about. How can we lift the restrictions on restaurants and pubs within that framework of understanding how we can have increased but safer interactions over time? Some of the things that will not be changing that in the near future are the orders, for example, on numbers of people who can congregate together. And right now that's at 50. And because we think that we are able to maintain effective physical distancing. So all those other parameters have to be in there too. So if you're somebody who's planning a wedding or an event this summer, for example, these are the things that we'll have to think about. Smaller is better. Outside is safer than inside. Have ways where you can have people who are more vulnerable to severe illness participate but not have the physical connections. No buffets, for example, because we know that those are opportunities for sharing of viruses. So these are all the sort of building blocks or principles that we'll be putting into place. And as I've mentioned over the last few weeks, what our thoughts are how do we apply those in the different settings that we're going to be faced with in the coming summer. So we can do Little League Baseball, for example, but it'll look different this summer. I think one of the other things that I think is important to recognize is I don't believe that we will be doing this type of restrictions forever. We still do not know a lot about this virus. In particular, we don't know how long immunity lasts. We don't know how to measure it very well. As we know, there's been challenges with the tests, the serologic tests for immunity. So those are all those things that we will know more about once we get through this summer. We'll also know more in the fall about whether we're going to see a natural upsurge in infections because of the respiratory season. So we really are in uncharted territory right now, and that's why it is so important for us to maintain these principles through this summer. This is going to be a unique summer for all of us, and we're going to have to work very hard in my world, in public health, to make sure that we continue to detect every single case in our community and are able to manage it, to find the contacts, to make sure that we're not allowing transmission and outbreaks and growth. So it's going to be a challenge for all of us, but I think we can do it. We've shown in BC that we know how to manage this outbreak, that we can take the measures we need. Now is our time to start thinking about how we're going to have this unique summer together. The challenge that we're going to have around social interactions is, we all want to go hug our friends and, make sure that we can see our grandparents and our grandkids. And these are the things that we are going to have to be cautious about. And I've talked about this a little bit. The more people we interact with, the higher the likelihood that somebody may have this illness in our community and may unintentionally spread it to us. So we still have to be very wary of those opportunities where this can happen to a lot of people at once. And we have good examples of that, unfortunately, from Canada and from other parts around the world. Newfoundland and Labrador, for example, where the vast majority of their cases were linked to somebody who was not that ill, who attended a funeral. We've had incidences where a variety of people were infected, a large number of people were infected at a birthday party. So we have to be very careful through this summer, because we know we can't get rid of this virus entirely. They think they have in New Zealand, but we are not an island like New Zealand. We have essential travel that comes back and forth into British Columbia and out of British Columbia. So we aren't able to maintain all of our borders in the same way. I think we have seen that people are very concerned about this, and we have seen what's happened around the world, and people know what we need to do. It's hard, and it's been hard on us all collectively to be where we have. So we all collectively have a vested interest in doing the right thing. And, I've said it many times. I really honestly believe that if we give people the information about what you can do, this is why we're presenting this to you. You understand the impact. We know what we need to do. We know where the limits are, and we know that most people will do the right thing. And I'm convinced that that is the case here in BC.